If you like movies, check out my movie review channel. Every single movie title you see on the screen, I have a video about coming out within the next 2 weeks. I'm uploading a video every day for 2 weeks, so definitely make sure you're subscribed there. The link is in the description below. I got some other stuff on there too, some like breakdowns of certain scenes I like and things like that, so check it out. Alright, let's talk about the guy we should be talking about after this game. Listen, I get a lot of the controversy is what gets people's attention, but you know what? I thought that really one of the headliners of this game was Chris Jones. I mean, it kind of reminded me a little bit of some of those Aaron Donald games we saw last year of just really he took over in a massive way, and he did it in several different ways. First, it's going to be his, amazingly, I did not believe the stat when I heard it last week that Chris Jones had never had a playoff sack. It's just one of those weird things because he's always played well in the playoffs, but, you know, need a little bit of luck to get sacks too, typically. But he's going to, you know, get a sack here. That's where he is on the field. And right when this play begins, it's really interesting what the right guard for Cincinnati is going to do here. You see how he puts his left arm out like that? The guard's name is Max Sharping, who, listen, it's not exactly, you know, he's a backup. He's someone who's typically not out there, and Jones is taking advantage by being able to essentially just, you know, when Sharping moved his left arm out to try to grab contact, he kind of just moved to the side to where for Sharping, he can't get the hand placement he wants and is now off balance because of how far he put his arm out. One of the things that Jones really makes him so effective is just how quick he is. You don't think a big guy would be able to move as fast as he does, but he moves just lightning quick. Because of that, watch how he's able to get to the side, and he is able to get to Joe Burrow, and, you know, puts him down very nicely, I have to say. Could have definitely inflicted a lot more damage on him. Just lets Burrow sit down, makes sure he doesn't get the penalty, because, you know, those things definitely fly pretty quickly on those things, but he did a good job of just everything about that play. It's very good, and it's really why you can't leave him one-on-one, especially when you have backups in the game, and this was a mistake by Cincinnati, and something they definitely stopped doing. But then that creates situations like this one, where one of the things about the Bengals is they don't love to have other players come in and block. That's not what they like to do. They like to just have their offensive lineman block. Now again, they'll have the occasional halfback chip, tight end come in, but a lot of times they do this, which is just there's 5 guys blocking. It is going to be their 5 offensive linemen. And so what do? Well, you have your left guard and center block Chris Jones because he's lined up on that side of the field. You're not going to leave him one-on-one. Okay, makes sense. But now over there, that is going to be George Karlaftis. And really, you know, I'm highlighting him, but you can highlight the other 3 guys as they basically get one-on-one matchups consistently, which is just obviously a huge advantage with not just are you getting one-on-one matchups, but you pretty much know when you get to the line, you're going to be getting a one-on-one matchup. It just makes things easier. Watch as Karlaftis, working on identity, is going to be able to win this matchup. He gets the sack from Burrow, so good play from Karlaftis. He has to win that one-on-one matchup, but when you're playing a banged-up Cincinnati Bengals offensive line, and now you're giving your other players who, they still have guys who can come in and play. It's not just Chris Jones. Obviously, Jones is the headliner. Jones is definitely the straw that stirs the drink for sure. But when you give him kind of these things where he gets the extra attention, well then, you know, it just makes everything work for the Kansas City Chiefs, and it just makes it easier for everyone else to get their sacks, to get their pressures. Like something like this is another example of, you know, honestly, I thought Burrow did what he could in this game to try to limit Chris Jones as much as possible. The issue is what he could do was not that much because Jones is so good. But I thought that Jones could have had even more statistics in this game had Burrow not done such a good job of getting rid of the football. And this is going to be an example of it, where once again, a one-on-one matchup. The reality is when Chris Jones has one-on-one matchups, he wins those matchups. And look at how, right when this play begins, you are going to see that Chris Jones, look at how this is just power. Again, Chris Jones really is I've always felt like it's such a shame that he is in the same, he plays the same time that Aaron Donald does, because the reality is he would be talked about as the clear, unanimous #1 defensive tackle in the league in most eras. It just so happens he happens to be, playing with maybe the best defensive tackle of all time, as in playing in the same time frame as it. But he is so good. Yes, I think Aaron Donald is better, but there is a huge gap between him and number 3. It's just a ginormous gap. As I said, Burrow is able to get the throw off quickly enough, and that could have been a catch too. It was a great throw from Burrow, but it was good stuff from Chris Jones. Listen, like I said, sometimes you need a little bit of luck to actually get the sack. Sometimes the play has to go your way. Quarterback has to hold on to the ball for a little bit too long, but it just goes to show that there's a different world where Chris Jones has several more sacks in this one than what he was already able to get, and several more pressures than what he was able to get, because they definitely made a conscious effort to get rid of the football quickly. Going over here, Jones doesn't get as much credit for what he's able to do in the running game, because let's be honest, basically everyone talks about the passing game. That's what's interesting to talk about, so that's what tends to get the, people pay attention to. But Jones had this play, which was just a fantastic play, and he is a great run defender as well. I mean, he's, known for his pass rush. He's a better pass rusher than run defender, but he's elite at run defense as well, and this is going to be an example. Look at how right when this play begins, it's going to be Max Sharping once again. You see how he kind of moves his, really, look at Sharping again, maybe a bit too anxious, trying to meet Jones at the, point of attack, trying to get to him. But Jones reads this so well. You see he gets his left arm and kind of puts it on Sharping's right side of his body, and is basically just going to try to push him to the side and get through that way. Watch how well this works. He easily squeaks through, and he's able to get a big tackle for a loss on that play, which, again, definitely helps, as the Bengals, they ended up having to settle for 3 here. Maybe they don't. Maybe they get a touchdown. Had he been able to, had that block worked, had he gotten blocked out of the way, maybe they gain some yards and they don't have to settle for 3 on that one. So just a very impressive play from Chris Jones. But of course, the play I have to talk about, the play that we need to talk about, is what was kind of like the clincher in a sense. Now, obviously, the Chiefs had to go down the field and kick the field goal. They got some help with the Joseph Osai penalty, all that. But, still, they got down the field. But they had to have an opportunity to get down the field. Chris Jones had to find a way to stop them, and that's what he was going to do. Working one-on-one against Hakeem Adeniji, who, kind of joked about on the podcast how Adeniji had to block Chris Jones last year in the conference championship game. That was, Adeniji was a guard playing tackle in this game due to the injuries, so now Jones goes to the outside, which the Chiefs do this. The Chiefs will, on specific plays, have him go out and be an edge rusher. They tried to do this, we're just having him be a pure edge rusher at times, and, that doesn't seem like the best strategy. Keeping him on the inside makes him more valuable, but on a specific play, like a 3rd down and 8, where that the quarterback's going to hold on to the ball for another half second because it just, they have to. This is when getting your best pass rusher in the most favorable matchup can make some sense. Look at how when Burrow takes a snap and Jones starts this play, again, able to win this matchup very quickly. What he's doing right here, he hasn't won it yet, but what he's about to do is he's going to do a rip move where he's going to get his right arm and just get it underneath Adeniji's right arm. That's what he's basically doing, and trying to knock that right arm out of the play. A lot of times in these situations, it really is that outside arm that's so valuable for a tackle. That's typically how these plays are won and lost, but it's just fascinating when you have a guy who isn't an edge rusher by design. It's not typically what he does, but watch this great edge rusher move he's going to pull off. Watch him just be able to easily win it. He gets the Burrow, gets the sack, just a great play. And then he waves to, it appears he waves to, I'm not sure if he was waving to the Bengals bench or just to his own crowd. I think at parts he started waving to his own crowd. I don't know, maybe it's just a friendly wave goodbye. I don't know if I've ever seen that as a celebration before. Also, the game wasn't over, so I don't know. Interesting celebration, but you know what? Hey, when you play as well as Chris Jones did, you can celebrate however you want to. He showed why, obviously Mahomes gets all the credit. Of course he does. He should get all the credit. I've never seen a quarterback make the throws that guy makes. And he's the best quarterback in football right now. But that being said, Chris Jones is an absolute star, and Chris Jones really does not get the credit he deserves. I think he's starting to get it. This was definitely a game that kind of allowed for him to get some of the credit he deserves, but he is absolutely a star player. He's probably a top 5 defensive player in football, in any position. I think he's that valuable. He's that good, and he just does so many things for the Chiefs. He's a big reason why they will play for another Lombardi trophy. And, I still think about all those batted passes he had against Garoppolo in the Super Bowl not last time, but 2 times ago. But yeah, that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.